music for you.
Steven, can you get yourself a little louder? It's like, really, I can't hear. I can hear you much better than him. Why?
All right, we're back. Three guys, many games. Here we go. All right, Smalls.
Yes. How are you guys doing?
I'm here with Rob Smalley, the legend, and the GOAT, Vinny Sombrato. And I'm Steven Sombrato, and we're here for episode 3. Big week. We're going to start it off with Smalls, big. We're actually going to go outside the sport. We're going basketball. So, Smalls, you had a big weekend, huh?
Yeah, it was quite a weekend. Tim O'Connell, if you guys don't know who he is his son is Michael O'Connell. They got a brother, Thomas O'Connell, and the wife, Tara. What a wonderful family. He played at Shamrod, then he went to a boarding school. Was supposed to go for lacrosse. So he went to a boarding school. Vin, what was the name of the boarding school?
Blair Academy.
Oh, thank you. It was Blair Academy. He was going for lacrosse. Something happened during the pandemic. He started playing basketball there, and he kind of got on the team a little bit, and then it went from there.
All right, let me keep the record straight.
Yeah, get it right.
He got an offer to go to Maryland to play lacrosse, but his first love is basketball. So he decided to go to Blair Academy for a year to play basketball. He wasn't going to Blair Academy to play lacrosse. He was going to play basketball. And his game progressed to a point where you could take it from there if you want to give his history.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Vinny. I was saying he got his offer was for lacrosse at Blair, not to play basketball.
Okay. I don't think so, but go ahead.
All right, so thank you for that. Anyway, he plays for North Carolina State, right? He went to Stanford for 3 years, graduated early, great kid. Now he's at North Carolina State, and he's got 2 years left because of the pandemic. So this year, I mean, the guy's playing unbelievable. They won their league, right? They won their league to get into the dance, to the March Madness, and now they won their first 2 games, and they're in the Sweet 16. I just think it's amazing what the kid is doing. He's a starting point guard. Tremendous what the kid is doing, and they won they went into overtime the second game against a team called Oakland, and they're from Michigan. It was an unbelievable win, and to get there, I've never seen any sporting event like basketball, even though I love it. Just the event itself, with the true emotions that you go through watching a game there. I don't know how any father could watch his son. I couldn't do it. It's so hard to watch. It's an incredible vision.
What I want to know is why we all of a sudden we're watching a game. All the fans out there that listen to us are watching games, and then out of nowhere, your mug is popping up in the middle of the screen.
Oh man!
Forest table.
Well, what happened was
How does that always happen? You're like the Forrest Gump of.
That is true, because now at my age, when you hit over 60, everything's courtside for me now. I got to be up front, so I'm right on the front row. Even with Vinny, I had a seat for Vinny. He wasn't able to make it. I had an empty seat for Vinny. Cost me $2,000 a seat, but no, it was great. You're always up front. Partying with the North Carolina State people was amazing. The father of DJ Burns, really wonderful people. It's just an incredible ride going through this. And now this Friday, we're flying into Texas, Vinny and I. And the first game, North Carolina State plays on Saturday at 7. Friday at 7. Friday at 7, we play, I forgot, Michigan, Marquette. I'm sorry, Marquette. And then the second game is, who's the second game, Vince?
Duke is playing.
Duke is playing that team that was number 1, Houston. Duke and Houston. So if Duke wins and North Carolina State wins, it's a North Carolina Final Four. That's incredible. That's incredible. But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I don't even know what to say.
It'll be a game to get to the Final Four.
Right. The game the Duke North Carolina State or Houston North
Carolina.
The
winner of that game will go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Smalls is a little rough around the edges with details, but for the most part, he's got it right.
That's why I got you guys as fact checkers.
I know.
I saw him yelling and screaming and pointing. And
Well, listen, that's his specialty. He's a number one fan of whatever team he's supporting. You know you're getting all of them there. When I saw him next to the big center, the big man from NC State's father, DJ Burns, I knew he'd be right next to him when the game ended, waving on the son to come over to his father, cheering, almost getting in fights the night before with the Kentucky fans.
They're not gracious fans, I will tell you.
They were sore losers. They took it hard, but
Well, they got beat by Oakland. They got slayed by a Cinderella team. Oakland. You talk about a Cinderella story. That's incredible. And they almost come back and beat us, North Carolina State. I'll tell you, Michael O'Connell had probably one of the greatest games of his life. It was truly a breakout game. He's usually a 5-point game. He runs the offense. But this was something special. He had 12 or 14 points in that game. And I don't know what to say about the kid. He's a remarkable young man.
to switch it over as we get to lacrosse, which is our specialty, I will say the one thing that March Madness shows you, and I think it's also for the lacrosse season, is anybody can be beat at any time. If you're not
Good point.
ready to play, these teams are becoming so equal, and with the COVID years and the transfers and everything else, teams that maybe don't have as much heralded history seem to come up and bite some of the top programs. So you got to be ready to play all the time. So one of the things I want to pull up is the picks from this past weekend. Let me see how I can pull this up. I know you guys might not be able to see it, but if you don't see it, I'll read them off anyway. So the first game we had was Brown and UMass, and Brown was successful. I was the winner, and you guys were the losers in that one. And then we had Princeton and Harvard, and Princeton took down Harvard. We all had that one. Then Maryland and Michigan. This is one that's we all got wrong. Michigan at home put up a good fight and took down the Terps. What do you think of that, Smalls?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out for Mulholland. Josh's father, the leprechaun. The son is playing tremendous ball. I thought it was a great win for him, really.
A couple goals in that game, I think.
Yeah, no. I mean, the kid's a tremendous athlete from Manhasset.
I think he had both his goals in the fourth quarter when they were down and came back.
Is this a cause for concern on Maryland's side?
Wait.
Yeah, listen, that's a Big Ten loss. That's in conference loss. I think they're definitely concerned.
What was the final score of the game? It didn't go into overtime.
It was a 1-goal game, but I think it was like 10-9 or something. It was low scoring.
So was it?
Yeah, the score of the game.
You got the score? Anybody fact check the score on that?
Yeah, I can get it for you.
You sure it wasn't overtime? It looked like overtime.
12-11, not overtime.
Wow.
12? Oh, it was higher than I thought. 12-11. I knew it was a 1-goal game.
So Mulholland came in and scored 2 goals. Was it late in the game or more towards early in the part?
I think he scored his goals in the fourth quarter, got him going.
Wow.
Late in the third or in the fourth even. I'm not positive. I didn't get to watch that game.
Does that drop Maryland in the standings?
Yeah, it did.
We'll get to the rankings, but here's another one. You got your hat on with the Heels. We all took UNC. They had a 6-goal lead pretty much going into the fourth quarter and let it slip away from them at home, and a High Point takes them down on some miraculous goals. What's going on there, Smalls?
Well, first of all, yeah, I didn't fully watch the whole game completely, but I guess the defense, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a couple easy goals. It looked like that they got in the big inning, and it went into 6. Did UNC score in the fourth quarter? I don't think they did.
No.
I watched toward the latter half of the game, on demand, and I don't think they got a shot in the fourth quarter on goal, the whole fourth quarter. So, the other team, it's not as though the lead just started to evaporate because North Carolina just couldn't seem to get any sustained
Were
offense.
they down? Weren't they down a man? Weren't they? Wasn't High Point up a man like penalties?
It wasn't all due to penalties. I mean, they just had possessions, and then North Carolina had possessions, and then they just either didn't hit the goal or a lot of turnovers, and then they failed to clear the ball at a crucial time, and they came down and scored and tied the game, and then they got the ball back again, and it was sort of a miraculous goal. The guy throws a behind the back pass to another guy who backhands one, and scores with 23 seconds. And that's a game that those games kill you because you should probably win that game, and you walk out losing, and those are tough. I mean, and now you got to go now. If you're North Carolina, you lost that game, and now you're going into the full ACC games.
Don't they play Virginia next game?
No, they play Army actually next.
I'm
game.
sorry.
So but right after Army, then they have other games, and they're going to have to play Virginia, and they're going to have to play Notre Dame. So,
well, the good thing is, what I can tell you about the good thing is, they got a tremendous coaching staff, and if anybody can settle down, it's the great man of Joe Bresci, and then you got Petro, you got all the other boys in there. I think they can recover. I'm looking for a big win out of North Carolina this week after that tough loss. I think they'll rebound, believe it or not. And I think they'll beat.
You got both teams coming off a loss. I mean, Army lost a tough game. They were on a roll. The number one team, they got knocked off. Number one, nobody seems to be able to hold number one for very long. Whoever ends up number one ends up knocked off relatively quick. But Carolina's a young team, right? They're starting 2 freshmen on attack. They don't play like freshmen, but they're still freshmen. Maybe, I don't know, I didn't see the game, but it's unusual for them at home. I think they were at home in that game to lose, a 6-goal lead in the fourth quarter. Because like I said, I didn't see the game, but I know they're one of the better teams on face-offs all year. I don't know how that went.
No, the Sayasa kid won every face-off.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't help. They got hot with face-offs, limited possessions, couple bad turnovers.
I remember when we played that kid, and I said, and he wasn't even.
Well, what's his name, Steven? When you say that, say his name, like so the audience knows.
Cardi, right?
No, Luca Accardo.
Yeah,
from Sayasa. Yeah, he
played against them, and he won a lot of face-offs, and he was a decent player. And then he wasn't really playing at the beginning of the year, and I was like, asked Vinny one day, I said, what happened to that kid? And Vinny said, well, he's good, but they got another guy who's really good. When I turned that Carolina game on, Accardo took every face-off.
Oh, so wait a second. The kid won every face-off in the fourth quarter?
Every face-off.
Oh, my God. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so yes, you got that working against you for Carolina, but it's not like they scored on every possession. They stopped them. They cleared the ball. They had it on offense. They really couldn't do anything. They
have to. They got to be able to score. I mean, listen.
And you got to get a face-off guy.
Look, they have to put that one behind them at this point, and they got to gear up for Army. There's an opportunity in front of them, and I'm sure Coach Alberici saying the same thing for his team. Both of them want to bounce back this week with a win.
So they're both coming off a big loss, would you say?
Yeah, and they're both getting into their meat of their schedule there. And Army is getting into they'll be getting into their schedule, their Patriot League. It just shows you. I think I remember somebody saying that Army would run the table. I don't remember who that was.
Yeah, I think we had that where
I think his initials are RS, but he had Army running the table, and I think I cautioned that sometimes those in-league games are tricky. They're rivalry games, on the road, middle of the week. Funny things happen in those kind of games.
Can I get a mulligan?
Can I
get
I'm just
at the Shamrock? It was just St. Patty's Day. Give me 2 weeks after Patty's Day.
BU played a great game. BU played a great game that night, and hard-earned win. And listen, look, you're going to have some bumps in the road in the season. You want to be at your best in the last quarter of the season in your conference, because for some of these teams, I don't know how many, wins or losses you're going to need within your conference if you don't win your conference to get a bid for the playoffs. I think there's 17
Playoffs.
teams, 17 teams, 17 teams make it, and there's 10 automatic qualifiers. So, it gets tight very quickly. And, my guess is, ACC is going to get 4. So take out one
Vinny,
of them
Vinny,
as
that's
an
not
odd.
going to happen. So you're telling me the Ivy League is going to get 2?
I think the Ivy League will probably get,
They'll
yeah,
send
they may.
3, Vinny.
I think if it comes down to, I like for the Ivy League. Listen, I'm predicting right now for the Ivy. I like Yale and I like Cornell. I think those two teams
You're
are going to make
bouncing out
it.
Princeton.
Princeton, I think, is going to have a tough way in. I do. They
Wow.
could get knocked out.
The one thing about these losses, with taking a bad loss, is they can get. The good news is when you do have such a hard schedule, maybe you're worried about playing these, but that's what gets you back in it. So Carolina, by beating a couple of ACC teams, could be right back in the mix. If they can beat Virginia, or if they can beat Notre Dame or beat Syracuse when they play them, they're right back. They're right back. So that's the good news for the teams that take the losses.
Yeah, no, you have opportunity. It's but you can't keep. All of a sudden, you run out of rope. You
And
got to win some
you
games.
just gotta hope Smalley doesn't pick you.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the guy literally put the whammy on Army, absolute undefeated, and you just knew.
I'll take a mulligan on that.
Uh, it was a matter of time before that happened. So we all lost that one.
Well, they were the last undefeated team, right? Or is there
No,
somebody else?
Quinnipiac is actually still undefeated.
Oh yeah, Quinnipiac. Yeah, listen, Quinnipiac's on a tear. Look, it looks as if Quinnipiac's gonna run the table.
Oh,
Not to put the hex on them, but it looks like they got a good shot to win their league and go undefeated. I looked at their schedule. I don't see there's anybody there that they can't beat.
right.
And if they go undefeated, obviously that would mean they win their conference. The question is based on. I was looking at something before. Next time maybe we'll pull it up. But the RPI,
Yeah.
the RPI is a lot different than the rankings.
Right. Well, we'll get to
And
those. But this game here, Georgetown handled Richmond pretty well.
yeah, that was a good win. Richmond's been pesky to everybody. They've played pretty good defense. They play good defense. They're having issues scoring, I guess. But yeah, Georgetown, that was a good win for them. Listen, it's another conference, the Big East. You got Denver, and you have Duke bounced back with a win over. Well, we didn't even talk about the fact that Duke only mustered 4 goals against Syracuse in the Dome last week.
Well, Duke,
You know,
I'm at the Duke game when we picked. I won. I picked Duke in the bounce back. You guys took Denver. Duke won. It got the hook. The hook saved me. But
yeah.
it was an interesting week for Duke because they took a beating up in the Dome. That was Syracuse looked very impressive up in the Dome, and obviously the goalie was unreal in that game. And they only to think Duke could only score 4 goals, but listen, 11 goals against the Denver D at home is they've been averaging like 18 a game. Now they've scored 4 and 11. What's going on there?
Well, Denver's tough defensively, so they play kind of methodical. I mean, that doesn't, the fact that they won that game was a good thing. It had a quick turnaround. Listen, everybody's.
Is it possible that and we've been on teams like this, Vic, when you have too much star power, you never get in the groove of actually playing.
Could be.
Everybody ends up
It,
everybody ends up not at their full comfortable level because you just got too many guys to kind of have around, too many moving pieces, and nobody ever gets comfortable.
Well, I could tell you, look, we started this conversation talking about basketball, right? And you're down to the Sweet 16, and 2 of the 3 games, 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 2 of the 3 North Carolina State, who we're rooting for because of Michael O'Connell on the team. They're the only double-digit seed still going. The next lowest seed in the group of 16 is a 6 seed, which is Clemson, who's dangerous.
Yeah.
So we all this talk, this team looks good, this team beat this one, this team beat that one. Historically, even in the lacrosse, when it gets down to the end, it ends up, you get to the Final Four, and it's like the top 5 ranked teams. Again, they're there.
I will put a big caution flag in here. I don't mean to step in here. They do have 2 losses, but the big caution flag is everybody take it easy. Like Vinny's famous thing is, famous quote: "Take it easy." Say, give it to me, Vinny. Take it easy.
Well, Duke, I wouldn't discount Duke. You
And if you
said
think Brendan O'Neill those of you out there who think Brendan O'Neill is still not the greatest in the game, you can come on our show and tell us why he's not the greatest. Because that guy is, he may have not had 2 and 2, and people say he was sleeping, this and that. I hear the people out there all chiming. You can come on our show and tell us how Brendan O'Neill is not the best in the game. Because that guy's still the best player in the game today.
He came back strong against Denver. He had a 3-goal game against Denver.
They at least won. They come up a bad loss and they won. So I do give him some credit like that for that.
He's the most
Brennan. His name is Brennan.
Vinny.
You always give him a D in his name. His name is Brennan.
What did I say?
Brendan.
It sounded like Brendan. I have a speech impediment. Excuse me, Mr. Vinny. Jesus Christ. He knows I had this since I'm a kid, and he'll kills me. I had dyslexia times 10, ADD times 20.
You're doing good. Give him a cookie.
Vinny.
Steven, give him a cookie.
Steven, give me a cookie, I'll go away.
All I know is you are a super fan. One day you're at a lacrosse game in the box at Hofstra with the whole Carolina alumni. The next week you're at NC State. You're in there with DJ Burns' fathers hugging you, showing the muscle.
That is
I don't expect nothing less that you'll be on the court in the Final Four.
Oh, no, that's a fact. They make it to the Final Four, I'm going on the court. I want to get arrested. I've been arrested in 30, 40 years. Please arrest me. How are they going to arrest an Irishman with a leprechaun in his thing? But anyway, you're right, though. Like I said, Brendan O'Neill, still the best in the game. I like somebody to come on and tell me different. I'll have that debate with anybody you fans out there about Brendan O'Neill. I'll go stat to stat, player to player. But it is theirs to lose. It's a big year, though. I will say that. Brendan, I think, is still the favorite in my book. If they could get on a roll here, I still think they'll make the dance to Final Four. You think they're not going to make it, right, Vin?
No, I think they should make the Final Four.
Oh, you still think they could? Okay.
I don't know about win at all. I think there's a lot of things they need to improve on. I'm not convinced. I think their defense is good. The goalie's been good. He's a freshman. I give him credit. He's played well enough for them to win. The face-off guy, he's a little off from his normal percentage, but not much. These other guys are very good too. They got to find ways to score goals. They got to shoot a little better. They got to generate, a little better offense. They got to find ways to free up O'Neill.
I'd like to see them go back to get Balsamo more involved here. I'd like to see his stick, maybe switch something up like that. Get him, sometimes that helps. Switch it up a little.
They got plenty of time to figure it out. It's just a question of figuring it out. I mean, you got guys with tons of experience coaching. They can figure it out. But, when I watch a lot of lacrosse and I watch a lot of different teams, the thing is, it's for me to win the big games. There's a few factors. Notre Dame, they just play with an edge. But yet they got beat a game. But they play with an edge. They play hard every second. They got a lot of talent. They go to
the lunch bell kids, man. You got 2 of those Irish kids. They're lunch bell.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
got the 2 Kavanaughs down there, and you got you got the goalie. That can give him an edge when the time comes. Whoever's goalie might get hot. Penn State, they lost that first game of the year. Everybody wondered what happened to Penn State. Next thing you know, they're on a tear. They haven't
Oh,
lost a game
shit.
since, and they've lumped up a bunch of
Well,
teams too.
that was the next game we had here. You know, we ended up all with a push there. That was a push. Actually, it
What do
looked
you
like
mean by a push when you say that for our
it was
fans?
3 goals. You know, I picked Ohio State getting 3 goals, and they lost by 3.
Yeah.
But they were looking like they could win the game. You know.
No, they were hanging around. That's why I say these conference games, you don't know, But like I said, there's upsets here and there along the way all season, and then all of a sudden, by the end, I wouldn't be surprised if at the final four, it's not the top four seeds that make the final four. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it is. The key is going to be, especially for the ACC teams, is to be seeded high enough that they avoid each other before that. I mean, if two ACC teams are going to face each other in the quarterfinals, it's going to put one of them out of the picture.
That's why, Vinny. That's a good point. That's why I think they're not going to pick 4 teams because these teams are going to constantly. Notre Dame will beat Virginia. Duke is going to come back and beat Notre Dame. I just think they're going to have losses. They're going to have
They will
losses.
have losses, but they'll be good losses. I mean, I guess
Also, when they vote on the
not to
point.
use the term a good loss, but that's why they have that RPI. When you use that RPI ranking
All right.
system,
All
that's
right.
what they use more than they don't go by the media poll. They don't go by. I don't think they go by the coaches poll. I think the first criteria they look down that RPI and they see how you stack up in the RPI.
Hey,
So
Vinny, that's funny. Excuse me, I have to say something interesting. That's funny how you mentioned RPI because really we don't follow Division Two, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Kenny Berry, the friend of ours, his son plays for RPI, and they went from 10th all the way to number 2 in the nation. That's Division 2 or 3, Vinny. How do you say it?
I think they're in 3.
They're in
Okay,
3.
like that. Yeah. I mean, someday we'll delve into Division 3, but for now, I thought that's a good point. That team came from 10 down to 2. Vinny's laughing. Go ahead. Go laugh. You're allowed to laugh, Vinny. Shake it up. Come on, show the fans.
because we're
Show
because
the
you
fans
have us
your personality, Vinny.
because you have us dwelling. We're going to delve into it.
Go ahead. Keep it moving.
So the last
There he
game,
goes. There he goes. There
Hopkins
Vinny goes.
Hopkins took down Rutgers pretty easily. Actually, they looked pretty
Yeah,
strong.
I think Rutgers is not what they've been the last few years. There's still. I wouldn't be surprised they could pull an upset here and there, but I don't see Rutgers being contender. That's why I say the Big Ten. You're looking at maybe the winner of the league, which the winner of the
Hello,
league.
Stevie. Hello.
Yeah, the winner of the league for the Big Ten. Hopkins. You got Hopkins. You got Maryland. You got Penn State. Right now, Penn State's leading. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, really, you look at it from the RPI standpoint. Big Ten could get 3 teams in there.
Well, if you
So
want
so who's a tougher conference right now? Is it the Ivies or the Big Ten?
well, look at this.
Ivy.
You
Is
got
that the RPI, Stephen?
no. This is not the RPI, but this is the divisions with the division standing. Look, there's. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, I mean, the conferences. Would you agree that the America East, the A Sun, the Atlantic 10, the CAA,
No, they all get one. They
they're
all get
one.
one.
So they're
Yeah.
all one. Now you go to the last, like the other 5 conferences. The ACC, you're figuring to have 4 teams out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Big East, what do you think? The Big East is probably getting 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the Ivy League, you're saying 2, but they could be on the possible for 3. Possible.
Yeah, they're 2 to 3, same as the Big Ten is 2 to 3,
And what about
and I
the
think the
Patriot League?
ACC is 3 to 4.
And what about the Patriot League?
I think the Patriot League, if BU can win the thing, then I think they can get 2. Them and Army. I don't see, Lehigh's not a contender, Loyola's not a contender. I think it's only Loyola and BU
So
and Army.
you
Those
think
are the 3
actually
teams.
you think
Not
actually
Loyola. I'm sorry. I mean BU and Army.
you
Those are
think
the 2.
you think the ACC could be 3 teams?
ACC could be 3, but I think they're going to be 4.
I think they're going to be 4 too. I mean, it's hard to imagine that they'd leave those teams out because they kind of beat up everybody
Yeah,
over this course of this year. It seemed like that,
yeah.
other than that one weekend when the Ivies got them.
Why do you think they're going to favor them? I mean, I don't see it. When the Ivies were
Because
favored, the Ivies were favored in the pandemic era. I mean, I don't know where you're coming with this.
well, the Ivies had that one really good year when they were pretty hot, but and like Steven said, there was that weekend when Penn beat Duke. Penn is kind of fading, but Penn beat Duke, but then they lost to Carolina
Hey,
and
Vinny,
Princeton.
it all depends who's sitting on the board. You got a bunch of liberals. They're going to go with the Ivies. I mean, it's a good point
Well,
there.
I don't think I don't think they're coming in as liberals. I think that yes, there's a committee, but like I said, I think they can. You find the RPI, Stephen?
I don't have that right here, but I have the rankings.
Hey,
And
Vinny,
Yeah.
when you say the RPI for the fans, just elaborate what that actually means, the RPI. How do
The
you pick up?
RPI, there's different criteria go into it, strength of schedule, all that kind of stuff. It's a different equation. And when they it spits out, who you played against, who you beat, who you lost to, who the teams
Okay.
you beat, lost to, or beat, it
All right.
comes. So right now, I saw it this morning. I
So
didn't
that's why
see
you're
all of
saying
them.
4 teams.
But here I'll give you an example. Like I think like Syracuse, they're number 3 in the rankings. They moved up to right in certain polls. I think in the in the media poll they were number 3. I think in the coaches in the USILA poll I think they're up to 3. But in the RPI, I don't think they're top 5 in the RPI.
yeah, but they're also one glove touching a line away from being number 1.
Well, I don't
But,
know about number 1. They did lose another game. They lost to Army
Cuse
also.
is back, baby. Cuse is back.
but they would have only had one loss, so they would have
Yeah,
been.
and so would Notre Dame. So why do you judge Notre Dame over them?
That's a
I
good
mean, why
point.
would you
Notre
say
Dame,
Syracuse should
I'm
be over
only
Notre
saying
Dame?
I think Notre
Listen,
Dame lost
it
after.
all gets proven on the field. It's all
Yeah,
speculation. Obviously, from my picks week after week with the spread, I'm not so good at it. So what do I know?
but
But
all I'm
Vinny, you're
saying
the expert. You're the 4-time world
I'm no
player.
expert. I'm
Vinny,
no expert.
Vinny, you're the
I'm no
4-time
expert.
world player. And last week, I outdid the GOAT and Steven. My record was higher. For 1 week, I got it. That was my first week. I outdid the 2 clowns. I love you
Well,
guys.
you
But
won the week, but you still have not been out of the basement yet for 2
all
years.
right, but can you just give me a little credit? I'm starting to get out there.
All right, you might. All right, you're turning it around.
mass for so that you get a warm piece of the pavement. But the thing that I'm saying with Syracuse is I think that those teams lost after Syracuse lost. So, it ends up, those things, it's always like you lose, you drop. That's how you get knocked out. You lose, you drop, you win,
Yeah,
you go
listen,
up.
that's how it goes. But Hopkins beat Virginia, right?
Yes.
And then Syracuse turned around and beat Hopkins.
Yes.
And then Hopkins and who did Hopkins then lost to somebody? You know.
I
So
cho-
yeah, this is how
that's
it
my
goes.
sleeper to get in the Final Four. Hopkins is my sleeper.
But
All
You have to
right.
one sleeper.
Syracuse's loss was, those 2 losses were fairly early. They were fairly early. Look.
And they lost by a goal. That 1-goal game.
Army, both of them overtime. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're for real.
But okay. And then they got the win over Duke. Who
Yeah.
else do they have a win over other than Duke? That's like really like you say. Oh, they beat them.
They beat Hopkins.
No, yeah, Hopkins. That's what I said. Hopkins and Duke.
Right. That's their wins.
That's an ACC team and a Big Ten team.
Yep.
Those are the 2 best wins they have.
Yes.
By the time you get to the end of the ACC and they play their tournament and everything else, the more impressive wins may be. If Notre Dame beats Duke twice.
Well, look at what they got. Look at what they got left. Syracuse here, and the 3 of these are away.
No, now they're in the meat of their
Notre Dame,
schedule.
Cornell, and North Carolina. That's tough.
Yeah.
And Virginia at home.
This Cornell game is big for both teams. If Cornell could be, that would really be a feather in their cap for Cornell. That give them a little leverage down at the end if they need it, if they can beat Syracuse. That might be what might knock Syracuse as a 4th team.
Well, let's talk about Cornell because small. We we know we have some friendly people on the Cornell Big Red there with little Rai Goldstein going out and posting another 5 goals. Smalls, what do you think of that?
Oh, let me just tell you something. First of all, just talking about pure fun in the game, and kid freshman. He was a very small kid, Ryan Goldstein, coming into the game. What excitement did he bring to the game? He's been hurt. He's very small. First 2 games, I think he was 3-2 2 weeks ago. Now he came in and got a slap to 5 goals. That kid is so happy riding high. I love the kid. I love the family, the Goldstein family. They put Timmy, the father, Goldstein, and his wife both played over there. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And he's really small. I give him a lot of credit. I really, really do.
Timmy texted me, and I told him, I said, I think his son picked number 30 because he said he's twice as good as Timmy. Because Timmy wore 15.
Hey, let me tell you something. I told Timmy right on the phone. Timmy was great. He's a Hall of Fame. I said, if this kid keeps going like this, forget it. This kid, let me ask you guys a question. You guys see a lot of players. First year when a kid comes into the league, first 2 games, I think this kid has done as good as anybody ever. Even the Mikey Powers. I'm not comparing him, Vinny. Take it easy, Vinny. I'm not comparing. But what do you think, Vincenzo? As the first two.
He definitely hit the ground running, and you see his style of play. He's very confident. He's playing from X. It's not like he's not handling the ball. He's handling the ball, whether it's against a short, whether it's against a pole. He's not afraid to handle it. He's a good finisher around the goal. He's very smart. I watched the last game when he had 5. He puts himself in good position. He knows where to go to get a feed. He knows how to feed to guys also. I mean, him being out of the lineup early, coming in these last 2 games, he's added another dynamic for them.
What an added value to this kid.
Well, they got that other freshman, too, who's very good. They got the guy Long. They got a big Mitty Kelleher, big dog, running the alley shooting. I mean, they're a potent team offensively, Cornell. They're going to be somebody to contend with. I think they're just feeling their way right now because, like I said, Goldstein was out of the lineup the first however many games. He's only played 2 games, and teams are going to have to adjust to how they're going to try to cover. I mean, Kirst obviously is a known guy. He's an excellent player.
It'll open the door for Kirst as well because Kirst throws the best defenseman, and sometimes they're doubling Kirst, I see.
So yes. And so he knows how to get the ball. That kid knows how to get the ball to the right guys. So, I think they're going to need a little – their Achilles heel has been – they haven't been great at the face-off this year. I was looking at face-off stats today, That's one big thing that's been a huge plus for Syracuse. I think they're facing off – their percentage is like 5th best in the country right now. So that's a big turnaround from last year where they were at the bottom of the barrel there. Just the possessions. Yeah. You give the ball to those kids on offense of Syracuse, they're going to make something happen. So, it's like, there you go, like we were saying, Luca Cardo for High Point, it's matchups. Maybe I don't know how much he faced off early in the game. They might have just threw him up because they weren't winning, and then he just styles make the fights, as they say. Maybe he just had the style to beat that other kid.
Yeah, I think Hughes is really their team right now is really gelling to what they did to Duke. That might be an impressive statement to slap 4 points on them. That's pretty good.
It was the defense. Look, the offense, we know what it is. The thing that impressed me about Syracuse is that guy, the coach that came in. He's done a good job. The defensive coordinator, the kid from Manhattan, who's maybe he just has Duke's number because a couple of years ago, Manhattan used to play Duke, and they played them down there, and they hung with them one game I saw for 3 quarters, and it was
hung with them.
I couldn't believe Manhattan was hanging with Duke, and maybe
I think he had a great scheme, but Vin, take it easy. The goalie made the goalie saved.
No, the goalie got hot. Look,
but they did have a good scheme, and they definitely had a good scheme on O'Neal. They were doubling quick. They were catching them in.
Yeah. So it was a bad. Yeah. All right. So it was a bad game for. Yeah, it's hard to say.
They got to put that one. They got to file that one away. Learn from it.
When will they meet again? They play one more time or no more?
they're going to play in the ACC tournament. It changed. They used to play each other twice in the year. In the last few years, they were playing each other twice. Now they're only playing each other once, and they're doing. Somebody will get left out of the ACC tourney. So whoever gets left out of that, they're clearly not making the playoffs. They're out of the ACC tourney. That'll leave those 4 teams. It'll depend on.
Just a reminder, beginning of April, that game Cornell is playing at Post against Notre Dame.
Yeah,
You know,
that'll show what they look like. At the end of the day, it's just like the Final Four we're watching, or the basketball. Survive in advance. You want to be able to look. 2 years ago, Notre Dame got screwed, in my opinion. They got left out of it, and that motivated them for the next year to come back and win the whole thing. They were upset. They deserved to get in. They beat Duke that last game of the year. Everybody was saying before that game, oh, the winner of this game is getting in. The loser will probably be out. They beat Duke, and Duke got in, and they got left out. So, that's the way it goes. And like I said, a lot of that might have to do with the RPI. By the way, the other thing, travel plays into it a little bit too. Where teams are from, who's got to travel to where. Those are the things
how do
they say.
figure that out? If Syracuse makes the playoffs, are they over here? Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. They try to, I think in the past, at least from what I had heard, I don't know for sure, but I thought they try to limit the travel. If Hopkins is playing, maybe they get them to play in Annapolis if that's one of the predetermined sites. They try to keep teams relatively close so they don't have to travel too far. But
I'll tell you, that Muley kid,
sure.
what a great addition Muley was. How did they organize to get Muley over to Syracuse? I mean, what an addition, that kid. I mean,
Well,
really,
it made sense because he played a lot with Joey Spallina.
Okay.
They're Team 91 guys, and they played a lot together. And they played last summer up in Placid together.
I got you.
They're listen.
What a
That's
role.
what you need in this sport. You got to have chemistry. If you got the right chemistry,
Yeah.
you need the pieces to the puzzle. It's not always grab all the best guys. I've been in many tournaments that people thought teams were stacked and they never won it. Because there's only one ball, and when everybody wants to have the ball in their stick, it doesn't work so good.
You need
That's
the
why.
lunch trail guys like Dougie Hall,
No, that's
Jamie Allen.
That's why you look at a guy like, going back to the basketball, Michael O'Connell. I don't think he averaged during the season more than about 6 points,
That's it.
And
That's
even
about right.
even in some of these tournament games, he didn't take the game before this one. Look, when he hit the 3 to tie the score to put it into overtime against Virginia, I think that might have been his second shot he made the whole day,
Exactly.
But
4 seconds
but
to go
this
in the
game-
game, half court shot.
Well, listen, he's got to
Wow.
have his confidence because he can. Look, he made a huge 3-point play driving to the basket the other day in that game.
Oof.
He crossed over the guy, drove, put it up, got hit, got fouled, finished the basket, and made the free throw. It was a huge 3-point play. But he did it because I remember the shot clock was down to like 4. So he was forced into it. So I think he could do more of that, and that's what I think a lot of guys, even in lacrosse, you give them more opportunity. If teams are going to try to shut down, you're playing Duke and you decide your defense is going to shut down Brendan O'Neill, you better find other guys who can now get loose, be able to beat guys.
they have enough guys.
If you do, they supposedly have enough. They got enough
anybody.
5-star guys. That's part of what they got to figure out. That's part of what, I didn't see the Carolina game. I find it hard to believe watching that team. I've seen them a couple of times that they could be held, shut out in the fourth quarter. But obviously, that whatever the final score was, if I remember looking at the box score, they scored the most goals in the first quarter. They steady went down. They scored in the first quarter, second went down the third, and then 0 in the fourth.
Well, the ball movement stopped. The ball was stuck in sticks.
That happens.
Really moving, and then it was one guy having the ball, and it was either a turnover or wide shot and shot clock.
Yeah, well, that happens with some young guys too. Everybody wants to make the play instead of just trusting the teammates and let it flow.
Definitely.
Do what you were doing to get the lead.
See, but that's what I love. That's what I love about Goldstein. See, Goldstein is like he It's for all the little guys out there, for all the guys that were small like me, like Vinny when you were young, getting pushed around all the time. It shows
What
guys
about me, Smalley?
like
I got the
Ward,
name.
like little Smalls out there.
Yeah.
It gives you the hope that if you understand the game and you know where to be, you don't really have to have great size in that, and you could still be very effective. Granted,
Yeah.
you have to be around other good players. I mean, it helps that he's got Curse. It helps that he's got the big middies and that. I mean, you can't do it if. I think he would be having a lot harder time if he was playing at Wagner. That would be. It's hard to play like
No,
that.
if he was the number, I think that goes for anybody, not only
Right.
him. That's when it's
Right.
hard. If you outman. But I think that the one thing he has over most is that he understands it. He's got it
Oh,
already. He understands that
yeah,
already, and
he does.
I'm sure Timmy drilled it into him, and he's got his own natural, abilities. But there's things he does have that past having the IQ. He's quick. He can play with both hands, and he's a good finisher around the crease. As Smalley always says. Smalley says, they don't do it like the Canadians. You got to move the stick, move the stick.
This is what this
He
kid
does.
does.
He can
Hey,
throw a
that's why I
fade.
like the father. But he was saying the father carries a pencil in his pocket with paper. One day I saw the father. The father's always scheming. He's writing down little things or whatever. I don't know anybody into the game like the father. I got to give him credit. The father I consider royalty. He's on the royal. Vinny, you never made my royalty list. I'm sorry, buddy. Good kid, but you're an ex-mobster. Is he a
I'm
mobster?
still
You gotta cut
trying.
that out.
I'm still trying. I don't know how I just have no. I got nothing left to be able to prove it. I'm finished. Yesterday's news. I'm washed up.
No, you made 4 world teams. You could have made 5 or 6 or 7, Mr. G thought, but you got yourself caught up with being Mr. Whatever he was, right?
So so so
I got old. How about
the
that?
topic. So the other
Well,
topic.
hold on. I'm sorry. You did go, Vinny. Is that true? I don't want to bring it up. You don't want to. Is it true that you went out for 5 world teams and you got cut?
I did try out for a fifth, yes, and I didn't make it. I got cut.
If you don't mind me asking, what really happened there?
I didn't play good enough. It's as simple as that. You got to play good enough.
Who
I
cut you?
didn't
What was the
play.
guy?
Well, Bill Tierney was the head coach.
Got
You know.
balls cut. Yeah, I would have kept you. You're the Iron Man.
Nah, well, listen, he did the right thing. I didn't deserve it. So when you
All
don't
right,
deserve something,
Vinny.
I don't want
Why do you
anything I
Vinny?
don't
Going
deserve.
down. I love it. He's down. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry. I got that in. Go ahead.
No, so the one thing that I noticed this week, and I thought this is in a general sense. Do they have to do something with the schedules of these games at this point? The games in the Northeast were ridiculous. The Cornell game against Yale was basically on a brick ice field.
Yeah.
Shots were going in the goal and ricocheting out of the goal like you would have thought they were playing
Yeah.
on
The
ice.
net was frozen. Yeah.
My LIU Post, they won a game up at Siena in a foot of snow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, was that the one you sent out, Steven? There was a game.
They
Yeah.
must have. Did they break out? They had to break out the orange balls for that one.
I mean, it seems, but there's a lot of them. Obviously, in Massachusetts, there was a game that also was, snow. I mean, this is not. There was a few years ago when our nephews were playing at Villanova, where they played Denver actually, and I was at the game, and it was like
Oh,
that.
that was a snow game.
There was
Yeah.
like 6 inches of
Lacrosse
snow.
plays in the worst weather. That's a fact. Out of any sport.
But we never played this early, where there seems to be at least when they started playing early, they used to say, okay, schedule it so that you're down at Duke or you're down at Virginia, where you're down at those places. To have these games out or you're up in the dome, like these games that are out in these 6 inches of snow. I mean, is that something that you think they should look at the schedules?
Well, there were teams. Yeah. Well, listen, there were teams like Marquette. Some of these places have indoor facilities that they moved games inside sometimes if they can. I think Penn State played some games inside. I think they got an inside facility. Definitely Marquette does. I remember Villanova playing inside there. Cuse has the dome. But it's the schools like, the Dartmouth, I think, played a snow game this
Right.
weekend.
That's right. Dartmouth was the other one.
I
Exactly.
mean, listen, we really didn't get into our schedule from what I'm remembering, into mid to late March when I was
Right.
playing.
Right.
You reported to start practicing and everything like the last week of January, basically. And then that month of February, you had a couple scrimmages, a couple weeks. And then maybe by the beginning of March into there, that's about when we started. And believe me, when I was playing at Hofstra, that was a cold place to play, and it stinks to have to play. I mean, look, this game is best when you're playing in warm weather and you're flowing and you're sweating, and that's when you can really play. These playing in cold weather games, but listen, it is what it is. They got to make
Playing
the
in
best of
cold
it.
weather is one thing. Playing in 9 inches of snow is something entirely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, I
Steve,
know.
how many?
The problem is, what are you going to do? We played 13 games. Some of these teams are playing 15, 16, 17 games now, I think. And we rarely played midweek games. We rarely played, travel is involved. You're a student athlete. What are you going to do? Miss class? Unless you're playing your midweek game during a break, spring break, like Carolina did. They came up for this whole trip to Long Island, played 3 games in this area. Do something like that, and the weather's got to cooperate. You don't know what you're going to get with that. But listen, that's all part of what teams go through throughout the year. That's what makes sports so great. You never know what you're going to get. A weather game could change the thing. An injury. Hate to see anybody, lose
Wait a
people.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is the guy. He's talking about the weather. This is the guy when we had to play North Hempstead in the first round of the club playoffs at North Hempstead when it was a grass field before they even had turf, and it was pouring. It was forget it. It was torrential rainstorm. What year was this? 94.
Yeah, I guess around there.
And we're playing the game. It's all sloppy. It's a mess. We should be beating them. Actually, we were playing New York AC. We were playing New York
AC, yeah,
at North Hempstead though, and they're beating us. They're actually beating us.
at half,
And
yeah.
at halftime, it's pouring. We're in the tunnels underneath, and Vinny's yelling at John Phillips and Baroza, and he's yelling at them. I told you we should have played this game.
Yeah,
And
no,
Randy
I told
Natoli,
I told him we should have played it at Hofstra instead on the turf.
Smalls, Randy Natoli was the MVP of the game. You know why?
Why?
Because he had the same size shoes as Mark Millen. He gave Mark Millen his cleats because Mark was slipping and sliding all over the place. He goes, here, put these on. He gives him his cleats. Mark Millen scores about 4 goals in the second half, running by people, and we win.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we
Now
ended
that's
up
a
winning that
teammate. The
year.
guy gave up his cleats for
Yeah,
It's a good story. I like stories like that.
and
Yeah.
and from what I remember, I think Steve Mitchell was guarding Millen a lot of that
he
game,
was.
and he was sliding like he was on banana peels because
Exactly.
he could cover anybody, Mitchell. But that night he didn't have the right shoes. Nobody really. Carpo was one of the few guys that had good shoes.
So there's a couple of games tomorrow. I'm going to put this up. We might as well just pick these 2 games we'll pick this week before the weekend games.
Good. So at least we're on. We know who we picked. Go ahead.
We're going to pick. Well, let me get it up here. We're going to go. Here we go.
I feel I'm going to beat you guys this week. I'm going to get lucky.
So we're going to do the Duke game and BU. So Duke is -7 against BU
Where they playing that?
at Duke. I'm going.
Mhm.
I'm going Big Duke. I'm going Duke. I'm saying they're going to blow them out at home. They're gonna figure it out now. They've they had the.
I'm going to pick BU. I think that's too many goals. I think BU has been playing better. I say Duke wins, but not by 7.
Okay.
Vincenza?
That's a tough one with the 7. I'm an underdog better, and the way they beat Army the other day, they got a very good attack. The kid from Manhasset, Perfetto, the other kid from the island, the Alto. They got a seasoned attack, that team, and they had a couple other players that really played nice games. They're good on the face-off. What did Duke win by this week?
By 4.
4.
I think I got to take the 7. I think I got to go with BU with the 7 goals. I think they
I'm
can
on
have
the
that.
island again. This is my chance.
Yeah, you can make some. What's the next one?
And then the next one is we'll do the Lehigh going to Loyola. Loyola's minus 2.5.
Oh, Loyola minus 2.5. Oh yeah, they're a
I'll
strange
take
team.
Lehigh. I'm going with Lehigh.
They're at Loyola.
They're at Loyola.
No, I'll stick with Shorty Toomey. I'll go with Loyola.
You're going Loyola.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what's tricky about this game. You know, every time I pick Loyola, they don't play well. You know, I seem to jinx them, but I'm gonna go Loyola too. I think they're gonna put it together. Finally,
Oh, so those are the 2 games. All right.
Loyola. I'm putting Loyola for me, and Vince. So Smalley's on his own on that one.
I got to still go to Hendricks tonight. I'm going to dinner at Hendricks.
You are?
Yeah, I got to go over there. Yeah.
That's a big night.
He's got a big night.
What time is it?
Well, let's since we probably not going to broadcast, let's wish good luck to Michael O'Connell and the NC State Wolfpack. This could be a dream team. This could be this could be the second coming of that Wolfpack team with Valvano. The way they've won games with teams missing foul shots, and all the planning, all the practicing, they're not. He hits a 3-point miracle to put him in overtime, right? Michael hits that 3-point miracle that he
Against
scored against
Syracuse to get
Virginia.
into the dance.
But all it comes down to is you got the other team's best foul shooter on the line with 5 seconds to go, shooting a 1-and-1, and he misses the front end. All the guy has to do is make one free throw,
The
and
guy
they would
from
be out of
Virginia missed the front end. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That's how life
That's
goes.
sports, and that's why when you say, well, thank God we do it for fun. We're not betting because I'd be losing my shirt because I don't know what happens in these
Hey,
games.
Steven,
What?
when I say Wolf, you guys say Pack. We're going to do it 3 times. But get into it. Ready? This is for O'Connell family. Wolf!
Pack!
Say, oh, man, look at these guys. We'll start over. Wolf!
You said Wolf, we said Pack.
One thing in my life, I do right. These guys can't
What
do
was
nothing.
wrong with
We'll start over.
Let me ask you, what was wrong with number 1?
You both came up with something different timing.
We did?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it got recorded. Go ahead, try.
We might be a little delay. Okay.
Here we go. I want you to see. The fans will judge how much you're into it.
Okay.
Wolf!
Pack!
Wolf!
Pack!
Wolf!
Pack!
Oh, Wolfpack, baby! I'm going to the game. I'm going to Dallas, baby. Me and Vinny. Could you imagine we win 2 games and then we got to beat Duke? First game we got to beat Marquette. Sunday we got to beat Duke. We're in the Final 4. Can you fucking believe it? It's insane.
Your
man.
loyalties are really being tested when Duke plays North Carolina State.
Oh, I can't believe it. I got 2 big accounts. Oh, my God. I'll lose the accounts.
You got your
$1 million.
loyalties. You got big loyalties on both sides. What are you going to do? You're going to have to be like when those mothers, the sons play against each other.
No, I want to give a shout out to Michaela Ryan from Duke.
That's what I'm saying. Michaela, you got Michaela on one side.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to John Shire, the coach. He's having a great year. And Michaela Ryan, who is the chief of staff, a young lady from Long Island. Her father is Terry Ryan. They got a lot of beautiful kids, and they're all going down there to Duke. Now it's going to be an amazing game. They got to beat Houston. That's a tough game. Who do you like in that game, Vinny? Houston? They were number 1 all year.
Houston, I didn't think Houston played great the other night, and they lost their conference by 30 points. That they got beaten that. I think Duke's going to beat them. I think Duke is coming on right now.
I think Duke is playing really, really well the other night. Yeah, I agree with that.
And if you happen to get bored of the basketball, you got North Carolina Army.
Good game.
You got Denver Villanova.
Yeah, Syracuse, Notre Dame.
Harvard, Virginia. You got Michigan Hopkins. You got Cornell Penn.
These are good games.
Syracuse Notre Dame.
Wow.
You got Yale Brown.
Q, by the way,
I mean,
Q
these are
should beat
good
Notre
games.
Dame.
These are
Put that on the
really,
record.
really good games. And Maryland.
Shout out to Fish, Mr.
Maryland, Penn
Lobster.
State. Maryland, Penn State. That's another one. So we're gonna have some good games to pick over the weekend. You're gonna get.
I like also Maryland over Penn State. My boy Johnny Tillman, man. I love that guy. He's still my favorite, man.
We'll pick that one this weekend.
All right.
All right. We had a good night. We'll.
All right, Smalls, you did good tonight.
I want to say happy Easter to everybody, to the families, and how grateful we really are to be able to do this show and be healthy and everything like that. I always want to leave it with one odd thing because I'm an oddball. Really, I like to sing a song that used sing a verse of a nice song that used to love. Hold on, can I? Jesus Christ, you never can finish my thoughts with Vincent. No, so when you were playing college ball, I want to ask you, and this one he won't remember. Smalley asked one question. Vincenzo won't remember anything. Vinny, when you were playing college short, what was your one go-to song? Well, I got to hear it. Wait, he can't answer it. He can't answer it. I can't answer it.
I'm just confused by the whole question. I don't know what words he was using. He said
he
the
couldn't
for
do it.
sure. He threw sure in there somewhere. I don't know where'd they find this guy.
Well, that was good. That was Steven. What was your go-to song? Come on, you guys didn't have a song. Led Zeppelin. You didn't like Crosby, Stills.
I don't know. know.
All right, that's it. Wait, hold on. I got something for you. I got a song. Go ahead, keep talking, guys. I got one thing for you, and then we'll leave it with this song.
I know what he's gonna play already. It's his favorite
song.
song.
Oh God, here we go. Now we get. He didn't have one song we couldn't get.
I know what he's gonna play.
Oh, it might be.
Am I right?
You're close.
What a wonderful world.
You didn't get it up, Smalls. What's going on?
I'm getting it right now. 1 second, guys.
I even gave you a drum roll. Could you get a drum roll?
That's fucking great.
It's got 3 drum rolls and you can't.
Oh boy. What do you call this, Steven? 3 guys?
Man, he can't come up with the song. What are you doing? You're killing us.
Hold on.
You're killing us.
This is two guys and a mental patient.
Hold on.
We're going to start rolling the credits on you, Smalley. What are you doing?
He can't find.
Hold on.
He can't find it. Oh boy! All this build up for what?
Yeah, really.
All right, we'll go with this.
I was once again going to bed with my husband knowing that I wouldn't make it to the end. This silly hack is capable of making his members stay hard.
What's going on there? You got an ED commercial?
What
She
is
put an
going
ED
on
commercial
there?
on.
Well, he's lost it.
All right, signing off. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter,
All right,
everyone.
What a wonderful
you
life.
soon. Wonderful life. The wrong one. Talk to you later.
Couldn't find it.